To business news now, it's Stephen Carroll. Stephen, we're going to start in New York, where the stock exchange has reversed a decision about stopping trading in 3 top Chinese companies.
Yeah, that's right. An order from the White House had led the New York Stock Exchange to announce that it would delist China's 3 biggest telecoms companies. The move risked sparking fresh tensions between Washington and Beijing. This was an executive order from Donald Trump that had banned US investors from holding shares in companies with alleged links to the Chinese military. NYSE had initially decided that removing China Mobile, China Telecom and China Unicom from its platform would be the way to comply with that order. But in a statement on Monday night, the stock market operator said that it no longer intended to carry out the delistings and that it would continue to evaluate the impact of the executive order.
So what, if any, impact is this having on the markets?
Well, actually, shares in those 3 companies who also list in Hong Kong saw gains in their share prices as a result of that decision in New York. China Mobile up by around 6% a short time ago, and that's a bright spot on the Asian markets today. There are gains today in Shanghai, the Hong Kong Hang Seng and on the Kospi and Seoul, just the Nikkei in Tokyo dipping into the red. In trading in Europe, shares opening in the red today, of course, worries about increasing virus cases and the new lockdowns weighing on investors' minds there as well. That's the picture across London, Paris and Frankfurt at the start of trading. Airlines among the big fallers. Air France down 3% today. Of course, worries about travel implicated with the case numbers too. We're keeping an eye as well on the price of Bitcoin for you today after it hit that record over the weekend. According to CoinDesk, the cryptocurrency now trading for just under $31,000. That's down from a high of around 35,000 that it reached in recent days. Now, we're used to seeing big price swings in Bitcoin, but it'll be interesting to see what level it eventually settles down at after this most recent spike.
Okay, staying with the market, Stephen, and of course it was a much quieter start to the week for trading in London because of Brexit.
That's right, almost 6 billion euros worth of share deals were done away from London on the first full day's trading after the UK's transition out of the EU ended. The Financial Times reporting that trading in companies like the Spanish bank Santander, the Deutsche Bank or the French oil company Total had moved to EU marketplaces. That means that more trades are being done in Paris, Frankfurt or Madrid. Before Brexit, up to 30% of trading in EU shares happened in London, but changes in regulation now have pushed that business back onto the continent.
Well, meanwhile, here in France, the coronavirus restrictions have meant a huge slump in demand for champagne.
Smaller and fewer weddings means a lot less demand for champagne, as well as other major events that have been cancelled because of the pandemic. Even the Christmas period hasn't helped to recoup the lost sales, and some grapes are actually being left on the vine. Camille Nedelec has the story.
It's gloomy skies over the vineyards. And this champagne producer isn't going to be saying cheers anytime soon. 2020 saw events cancelled, airlines grounded and restaurants shut. As demand for champagne dried up, a third of the grapes here have been left on the vine.
C'est une catastrophe. Non, ça fait mal au cœur. On a des équipes qui travaillent toute l'année pour faire des beaux raisins. On a eu des beaux raisins. On essaie de travailler durablement. On est sur du développement durable. On essaie d'être le plus propre possible. Et de laisser 30% dans sa vigne, c'est un crève-cœur.
The production line has fallen silent, and the stock of 600,000 bottles isn't shifting. The pandemic has cost this family-run business 15 million euros in lost sales. At Drapier-Champagne, customers like these Belgian tourists have become rare.
Il a fallu surmonter le moral et le champagne, c'est toujours une bulle, c'est incomparable pour surmonter le moral.
Ça fait du bien. On a nous-mêmes ouvert une bouteille pour célébrer ce retour de la clientèle chez nous.
Export accounts for 60% of their sales. Pre-pandemic, wholesalers like tourists would come to taste the champagne in person. Instead, the team sent out samples to clients around the world and held tasting sessions via conference call. The champagne industry saw sales drop by a fifth in 2020, representing a loss of more than €1 billion.
Finally, Stephen, the Australian airline Qantas is hoping for a return to international travel.
Yeah, that's right. Qantas has opened bookings for international flights from July of this year. That's after halting all of its foreign routes last year due to the pandemic. Australia, of course, effectively closed its borders in recent months, grounding flights by companies including Qantas. The carrier says that resuming international flights will be subject to the start of vaccinations and the reopening of international borders. Of course, a government decision on borders. And Australia's Deputy Prime Minister so that travel will only be allowed when international arrivals don't pose a risk to Australians. But Qantas hoping that by July there could be some sense of people being able to travel again.
Indeed, I think we all echo that hope that things will take a turn for the better. Stephen Carroll with the Business News, thanks indeed for that.